Hi guys, it's Han here. Today we're going to check out the smallest SUV in BMW family, BMW X1, thanks to Tim Bay, by BMW and Lexus from Tim. Welcome to subscribe my car reviews channel both in English and Chinese. Thank you for subscribing, liking, comment, sharing, and light up the bell. The first generation of BMW X1 was launched in 2009. The current product is its third generation, which was available in 2023 model. In its second and third generation products, it has fully transferred to the small front-wheel drive platform of UKL2. In terms of exterior size, the new generation of X1 has been enlarged in all aspects compared with the previous generation. If we compare the size of this generation of X1 with the new X3, we can see that even though it is much larger than the previous generation, it is still basically smaller than the X3 in size if compared with the X3. In terms of powertrain, the current X1 is based on two power versions of a 2.0-liter turbocharged engine equipped with a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. The 28 series has slightly weaker power, while the M35 series has slightly stronger power, which is crowned with the M logo. In terms of power parameters, the 28 series is slightly weaker in terms of maximum horsepower. However, it can be seen that both the 28 and 35 series have the same maximum torque figures. The entire X1 series is currently four-wheel drive product. The curb weight of the 28 series is 3,750 pounds, about 1,701 kilograms. The 35 series is 3,790 pounds, about 1,719 kilograms. According to the EPA tested, under combined conditions, the 28 series is 28 mpg, about 8.4 liters per 100 kilometers, and the 35 series is 26 mpg, about 9.05 liters per 100 kilometers. The fuel tank capacity of the entire series is 14.3 gallons, about 54 liters. It shows the MSRP starting price of the two models. But we all know that it is meaningless to check out the starting price of Germany cars without shipping costs. They basically sell packages and optional equipment. The car we are checking out is a new car of Tim's dealer. It is a 2024 BMW X1 28 series. It is equipped with two 45/45R19 wheels, with a technology package, heated front seats and heated steering wheel. The MSRP including shipping is $47,130. The engine, transmission, and assembly line of this car were all from plants in Germany. The appearance of the new X1 adopts a square design. Everyone knows that this design style is a relatively shocking design style that has appeared in the new products of the BMW family. Because of this square design, when we watch the pictures and videos, we will feel that this X1 is much larger than the previous generation. But in fact, when we get the real car, the actual observation does not seem to be that big. This may be the gap between the picture and the reality. From the front, the design style of the BMW family is very strong. The symbolism is very strong. This design style was first used on the electrified products of the BMW family and then promoted to the whole family. The shape of the lamp group has a bit of eye-catching feeling. In addition, the complex design of various light sources inside makes it look quite fierce, as you can see from the front grille, which is also the current design style of the BMW family. It looks more three-dimensional and vivid, and at the same time has a cooler and more combative feeling. Of course, this is also a feeling that all manufacturers want to present to everyone right now, but the form of each company is different. There is no design of a protruding bumper platform in the front. The most protruding position in the front is the position of the camera. Below the bumper, you can see that the design of this new X1 is also very complex, including the air intake below and the air guide holes on the left and right sides. The front lip design is also relatively complex. From the side, it is still the latest square design of the BMW family, but its square design does not feel like two simple boxes spliced together. It still has a certain sense of design and overall feeling. It can also be boldly predicted that in the near future of the BMW family, the side shape of the new generation of SUV products should basically be in this style. From the side, we can still feel a similar feeling to the front, that is, it does not appear so big in the video or picture, and it still feels like a relatively small SUV. Whether it is the front cabin or the lines on the body, the design is generally not very complex. In terms of color matching, I personally prefer the gray used in this car. In terms of decorative materials, you can see both chrome shiny colors as well as black plastic and bright black materials for decoration. In this version, you can see that the front two doors have touch unlocking and locking functions, but the rear two doors do not. The door switch also adopts the latest design style of the BMW family, which is an upward flip-up opening form. The opening angles of the four doors are all standard styles of the BMW family, and are not as exaggerated as many products on the market now. The doors appear to be thicker and more solid. The configuration of this car should be quite high, and the price is relatively not cheap, but the four windows are all single-layer glass, no double-layer glass is used. The bottom edge of the door does not cover the bottom edge of the body. Based on my height as a reference, there is no inelegant posture when getting on and off this car. No need to use any pedal device. It's equipped with 4 19-inch wheels. The wheel shape is quite complex, with both shiny metal colors and black. At the rear, we can see that the overall design of the rear is consistent with the style of the front side. On the basis of retaining some necessary elements of the BMW family, it makes the edges and corners sharper, as if the design is a preliminary draft that has not been polished yet. This was first introduced by young car manufacturers in the automotive industry, and now it seems that traditional manufacturers have also fully accepted it. On the spoiler, you can see that there is a downward pressure design, which is more exaggerated and integrates the high-mounted brake light. The rear wiper is exposed out. The shape of the two taillights is more exaggerated, and it is sharper than the shape of the front light group. You can see the angular design and shape treatment, which was unthinkable on mass-produced cars before. The rear also retains a very traditional protruding bumper platform design, which I think is pretty good. Below the bumper platform, the materials are also very complex, with body color, bright black reflective trim, and shiny chrome color. This car has 2 exhausts, one on each side, which are hidden designed. The keys of new BMW, lock button, other buttons placed on the side, power tailgate. The lining of the trunk tailgate is a whole plastic. You can see that the trunk opening is relatively regular because it is designed to be square. The depth of the trunk below and above is both pretty good. Relatively speaking, the size of the trunk is still acceptable in this class. There is only one light in the entire trunk, which is placed on the right side. There is a very solid hook on the left side and a net bag below. There are 2 hooks on the right side and a lighting lamp below. A 12-volt charger socket on this side, a storage compartment below. When the cover is lifted, you can see that this car has a spare tire. At present, more and more BMW products are equipped with spare tires, no longer use run-flat tires, which I think is pretty good. You can see that the spare tire pit below it is made more carefully, and the bottom is all velvet lining, which I think is well done. The space performance after the second row is folded down, pretty flat. The central control interior style used by the BMW X1 is the brand new central control interior style of the BMW family. It is currently being promoted and used in the newly modified models and new generation products. The 2 screens at the top are in the form of a curved surface. The middle screen is tilted towards the driver's side. The center console adopts a minimalist design, integrating most of the vehicle's functions into the central screen and placing the few mechanical buttons on this shift platform, which can be easily reached by placing your hands on it, which is quite convenient to operate while driving. The air conditioning vents on the center console have also been redesigned, and they look very EV. All 4 windows have a 1-button up and down function. This car has a head-up display. On the center console to the left of the steering wheel is the brand new light control switch of the BMW family. The area of the LCD instrument panel of this car is not very large. Many places are black frames. I think this instrument panel of BMW is made more attentively. Although it is also a vertical screen, when I adjusted the seat and steering wheel to a position suitable for me, I saw that there was no reading obstruction on the instrument panel. Because there is no reading where the steering wheel obstructs the position of the instrument panel, which is quite clever and thoughtful. Use the key on the right side of the steering wheel to adjust the display of the central driving information, which is also the style of the new generation of BMW family. The steering wheel is a new style of the current family. The steering wheel is very thick, feels great, and the leather is very delicate. The steering wheel seems to be relatively soft, very comfortable to put your hands on it. The shortcut buttons above are the latest version of the current family, which looks very simple. They are all integrated buttons. The lights have automatic on and off functions. The front wiper has an auto rain sensor function. The anti-glare frameless interior rearview mirror has 3 garage switches on it. The design above is relatively simple, without any panoramic mirror or glasses case. We have seen this central screen many times on the new generation of BMW family products. It puts the menu shortcut button at the bottom. The whole car has 2-zone air conditioning. The 2 front seats have 3 levels of seat heating. The steering wheel has 3 levels of heating. The related applications and settings are not much different from the other new generation of BMW products we have seen before. This car has panoramic views, left rear blind spot, right rear blind spot, front view, exterior 3D. The display is quite clear, which is also the consistent style of the BMW family. Below is a wireless charging pad, which is also the sensor for the electronic key. There is a clip to hold the phone inside, which is made with great care. There are 2 cup holders below. There are 2 USB-C ports, which can be used for both charging and data exchange. A 12-volt charger port on the right. The gear shift is a small button, which is used on most European products. which was first used in EV and is now being promoted to the entire industry. If you have not used this kind of button shift before, you must get used to it when you first drive the car. After opening the central armrest, you can see that it is relatively shallow and small. It was supposed to design to foam before, but now it may only hold some passes and change, etc. There is also a storage compartment below, which is very large, but I personally don't recommend putting anything in it. Sitting in the car, I adjust the seat to the bottom position so that you can observe the space performance. I feel that even if I adjust the seat to the lowest position, my body is still supported relatively high, and I don't feel like I'm trapped in the car like in traditional BMW sedans. With the transparent windshield in front, you can feel that the view in front is pretty good. I believe that many female consumers will definitely like this feeling, which is also in line with the market positioning of this car. The seat can feel that it is the typical seat feeling of the BMW family in this small and medium-sized car. The seat does not wrap and support the body very well, and there is no sense of sport style. Sitting on it, you can still feel that it is oriented towards comfort. The seat design is not the kind of wide and thick seat, but closer to the feeling of an ergonomic seat. Its filling material is relatively tough, not particularly soft, but relatively hard. What is good is that the size of the front seat in all aspects is long and high enough to support the body and legs well, which is still good. In this car, the two front seats are power adjustable. The driver's seat has a four-way adjustment for the lumbar support and two memory functions. The materials used in the front row are relatively good. You can see that the ceiling is made of fabric and the lining of the A-pillar is also made of fabric. The upper part of the front instrument panel is made of leather. The materials in front of the passenger are more complex, with ventilation holes, electroplating materials, and gorgeous decorative panels. The light-colored ones below are all hard plastic, without that soft feeling. The central armrest, you can see that the cover on the top is made of leather, and there are some electroplated decorative panels on the surface. The sides are all hard plastic, and the hard plastic at the bottom goes all the way to the floor. I still stubbornly believe that if the central armrest is designed with more functions, such as being able to lift it up, it will be more convenient. The window is very quiet when it is working, and there is also a noise reduction design at the moment it is about to close. When you sit in the car and look at the window frame, you can't see any metal parts at all. It is completely wrapped in plastic, and the plastic is also very thick. The materials used for the front door panels feel quite solid. The upper part is made of leather, the middle is leather, and there are some decorative panels. The two door handles in the front row are very comfortable to hold. The armrest is also made of leather. The black below is completely black plastic, and there is no soft feeling. The storage space on the door panel is still very large. Also a lot of storage space in the middle. The second row has a heightened effect. The sight line of the second row is slightly higher than that of the front row, but not too much higher. As for the headroom of the new generation X1 is very good. Although the second row has a heightened effect, the headroom is still very good and spacious for me. As for the legroom, the backrest of this seat is flush with the B-pillar, so there is no problem with the legroom. All X1 products sold in the United States are standard wheelbase length versions. I have sat in the previous generation X1 product launched in China before. The extended wheelbase version, the legroom in the back was very exaggerated. This one is not to that extent, but there is no problem sitting in here. The seat is probably a point that surprised me. You may think that the second row of seats are not very comfortable through videos and pictures, especially the seat cushion, which seems very thin and not high enough. But sitting on it, you can see that the seat cushion is high enough. Although it is not that long, it can support the legs well. This is very unexpected to me. The seat cannot be adjusted either front and back or the seat back. Only the headrest can be adjusted. It does not have a sunroof, but for me, which is not bad at all. The air conditioning of the whole car is divided into two zones, cannot be controlled separately in rear. The air conditioning vents in the rear row are placed behind the front armrest box. There are two USB-C ports for chargers under the vents. The central floor is moderately raised. When sitting in the car and looking at the window frame, you can't see any metal parts at all, are all covered with plastic. The material used for the rear door panel does not feel as solid as the front. The top is soft material, while the top of the front row is leather. The light-colored one at the bottom is leather, and the other black areas are all hard plastic, which does not feel soft. There are cup holders and storage compartments on the door panels. The height of the central armrest is very high, and there are two cup holders on it. There is a net bag behind each of the two front seat backs. There is a hook on each side at the back. After driving it, you can feel that most of the feelings are relatively BMW style. Power. This car is a 2.0-liter turbocharged engine, but its parameter tuning is relatively not too powerful in the family. Frankly speaking, the power is just enough with this 1.7-ton body. The performance in the medium and high-speed section is still good. but the low speed is really not very good. When driving at low speed, especially based on this low speed creeping scene, if there is a power increase or decrease, I don't feel too comfortable. First of all, its small displacement supercharged engine really relies on the intervention of the turbine. But at low speed conditions, the turbine does not work in a large proportion of scenarios. At this stage, if you rely solely on this 2.0 liter without a turbine to drive this car, although it can be said to be enough, you always feel a little tired. On the other hand, the automatic start-stop system of the engine of the new generation of BMW family products cannot be turned off. Every time the vehicle stops, it has to be turned off. In addition, if the auto hold function is turned on, it is really uncomfortable to stop and go in the city. Even if I was driving very carefully, the low-speed creeping would not be handled very smoothly, and I would always feel a choke. But if the speed is up and the turbos start to work, the low-speed secondary acceleration effect is okay. There is no feeling of laziness at low speed. The official announcement of the new generation of X1's front suspension has been redesigned. The support mechanism of the hydraulic suspension is also completely made of aluminum this time, reducing the weight by nearly 6 pounds. The steering axis has also been adjusted to speed up the steering response and enhance the stability of straight-line driving. The suspension feeling is also the same as that of the BMW family's small cars, and the main pursuit is comfort. The road feel of this car is relatively clear, and all the bumps on the road will be slightly modified and transmitted into the car. Overall, it feels more comfortable to drive on a flat road at high speed. The brake feel is also more BMW style, and the adjustment style of the brake pedal is the tighter feeling of the BMW family's small cars. The official information does not announce the brake disc data of this car, so we can't compare it. The brake depth of this car is relatively shallow. The brakes start working when you apply a little force. There is no smooth and gradual feeling. At the same time, you will not feel the weight of the car on the brake pedal when you step on the brake, which is also a must-have feeling for the BMW family. The braking distance is also relatively good. Although this car has a square head and a square head, the drag coefficient of this car is 0.27 CD, according to official, which is pretty good. When driving at high speed, I feel that the noise control is also more BMW style. The wind noise is not loud, relatively speaking at this level. The tire and engine noise can be heard moderately, which are all more BMW style. But there is one thing that I feel uncomfortable. It feels that when the ignition is on, the button is clearly pressed, but it needs a reaction process before the vehicle starts. The same is true for shifting gears. After shifting the gears, wait a little while for the gear to start working. I know that this process needs to be waited for any car, but I think the waiting time is relatively longer than other BMW products. There is another point that I cannot express in words. Although the car is full of common parts of the BMW family, I feel that driving it is different from the rear-wheel drive platform products of the BMW family. I cannot tell you exactly what is different, but it does not feel like a typical BMW. It is like when opening your eyes the next morning and finding that the person next to you is not your wife. Let's talk about this later when we have a chance to experience it deeply further. Generally speaking, it is a relatively easy to drive and high-quality small SUV. In summary, this is a quick video of the 2024 BMW X1. In general, the style of the exterior and interior of this car is consistent with the latest design style of the current BMW family. In sharp contrast to the more honest and cute shape of the previous generation of products, this generation of products appears to be more sporty. Of course, this is also a brand new impression that the BMW family wants to present to everyone. From the perspective of dynamic experience, although this car is also a 2.0-liter turbocharged engine of the BMW family, it feels that with this body and this adjustment, it can only be said to be enough. It is absolutely impossible to talk about the power being very explosive or violent. There should be no problem in dealing with daily travel. From the size and interior space of this car, we feel that it may be more suitable for some daily travel use of 1 to 2 people, and it is not suitable for a larger family with multiple people. I think this car may be more suitable for female consumers. Of course, the same word by whichever you like. Don't control, don't be shy. The above video, thank you guys.